Good morning. Today I chose the talk That They May See by Bonnie H. Cordon. And in it, it's basically talking about missionary work, but I found something else that I wanted to talk about. So, she begins by saying, by virtue of the restoration of his gospel, we can be filled with the light of our Savior. However, that light is not meant for you and me alone. Jesus Christ has called upon us to let your light so shine before this people that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. I have come to love the phrase, that they may see. It is an earnest invitation from the Lord to be more intentional about helping others see the path and thereby come unto Christ. Now what I pulled out of there is something different than what she had intended, but I'm going to read this story and then talk about what I've come up with. Okay, so it says, when I was 10 years old, our family had the honor of hosting Elder L. Tom Perry of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles while he was on assignment in my hometown. At the close of the day, our family and the Perrys sat down in our living room to enjoy my mother's delicious apple pie, while Elder Perry recounted stories about saints around the world. I was enthralled. It was getting late when my mother called me into the kitchen and asked a simple question. Bonnie, did you feed the chickens? My heart fell. I had not. Not wanting to leave the presence of an apostle of the Lord, I suggested that the chickens could fast until morning. My mother replied with a definitive no. Just then, Elder Perry entered the kitchen and with his booming, enthusiastic voice asked, Did I hear someone needs to feed the chickens? Can my son and I join you? Oh, what an absolute joy it now became to feed the chickens. I ran to get a large yellow flashlight. Excited, I led out, skipping over the well-worn path to the chicken coop. With flashlight swinging from my hand, we crossed the corn patch and passed through the wheat field. Reaching the small irrigation ditch that crossed the path, I instinctively jumped over it, as I had done many nights before. I was oblivious to Elder Perry's efforts to keep up on the dark, unknown path. My dancing light did not help him see the ditch. Without a steady light to see, he stepped directly in the water and let out a loud groan. Panicked, I turned to see my new friend remove his soaking wet foot from the ditch and shaking the water from his heavy leather shoe. With a soaked and sloshing shoe, Elder Perry helped me feed the chickens. When we were through, he lovingly instructed, Bonnie, I need to see the path. I need the light to shine where I am walking. I was shining my light, but not in a way that would help Elder Perry. Now, knowing that he needed my light to safely navigate the path, I focused the flashlight just ahead of his steps, and we were able to return home with confidence. My dear brothers and sisters, for years I've pondered the principle I learned from Elder Perry. The Lord's invitation to let your light so shine is not just about randomly waving a beam of light and making the world generally brighter. It is about focusing our light so others may see the way to Christ. It is gathering Israel on this side of the veil, helping others see the next step forward in making and keeping sacred covenants with God. Now, my little takeaway from this story is the word intentional. That word's been popping up regularly lately in my life. The concept of being intentional. So, in the story, she was going about, she had the flashlight, she knew the way, she was just kind of waving it around, skipping, it was swinging naturally in her hand. There was no intention to where the beam was flowing. and someone else got wet. But when she was able to focus her light and be intentional on the pathway back for Elder Perry on the way home, things got better. And yesterday I heard a quote that said something to the effect of, being intentional gives you more control. And so this story about intentionally shining our light to help others, yes, for ministering and missionary work, but sometimes it does feel like I'm going through life. I'm doing good, but I'm just swinging my light randomly, It's like I'm not being intentional with how I am doing my calling, or how I am doing my ministering, or just how I live my life day to day. I'm not being intentional. I'm just kind of going with the flow. That's kind of how I've been doing it all my life, is just kind of going with the flow. There's no intention. There's no set bucket list or a goal that I'm trying to get to. And on those times or those days when it feels like I don't have control, the idea of being intentional gives you control. So the example that was given when I heard this quote was, this person wanted to wake up at a certain time. And by waking up at that time and getting up, it gave her more control over the day. Like, for instance, Hannah missed her alarm, and so she missed seminary, and she was distraught for quite some time. She felt like she was out of control. However, when we get up and we do the things and we're intentional with our actions and the way that we set up our lives, it gives us more control over the day. And there's a quote that's been up, I think, since last conference, I want to say. I don't know who said it, but it's been up on my wall, and it says, things don't need to be done perfectly, but intentionally. And so this intentional phrase, this intentional word, it's an interesting concept that I want to incorporate in my life a little bit more, to be intentional with my actions, with my day, with how I planned my day. I don't plan my day at all. Okay, so in the concept of things don't need to be done perfectly, but intentionally, y'all know me, I'm a perfectionist. So if something's not going to be perfect, I will not do it. I don't want to waste my time on something and then have it not turn out the way I want it to. But it's saying that it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do need to do it intentionally and with a purpose. And that will make it worth the while. So anyways, that's my thought for today. That they may see. Bonnie H. Corden. All right. Talk to you later.